How does PDB hook into Python's execution flow? Imagine trying to find a tiny bug in a complex machine. You need a way to pause everything, look inside, and see what's happening. That's what PDB does for Python programs. PDB, or Python Debugger, connects directly to how Python runs your code. It uses a special tool called a trace function, which is like a traffic controller for the program. This trace function is installed using Python's setTrace function. When you run your code with PDB, it sets up this trace function to watch every line, function call, and exception. The most common way to use PDB is by inserting PDB setTrace into your code. When Python reaches that line, it pauses everything and switches control over to PDB's interactive prompt. You can then step through your code line by line, check variable values, or even jump around to different parts of your program. You can also start your script directly under PDB by running Python PDB script py. This way, the debugger takes control from the very beginning. It hooks into the interpreter by replacing the normal execution loop with its own. This allows you to set breakpoints before the code runs and watch how the program flows. When an error or exception happens, PDB can hook into that moment too. Using post-mortem debugging functions like PDBPM, it jumps into the debugger at the exact point where the error occurred. This helps you see what was happening just before the crash. PDB also lets you control the flow of execution. You can continue running the program after a pause, step into functions, or jump to specific lines within the current frame. It does this by controlling the interpreter's execution loop, telling it what to do next. All of this is possible because PDB relies on Python's internal tracing system. When you set up the trace function with setTrace, Python calls that function on every line, function call, and exception. PDB uses this to decide when to pause, when to show you information, and when to let the program run freely again. In simple terms, PDB hooks into Python's execution flow by installing a trace function that monitors every step your program takes. When it hits a breakpoint or an exception, it pauses the program and hands control over to you. This gives you the power to inspect, step through, and even change how your code runs, making debugging much easier.